Hello everybody and welcome to the second edition of Wrestling Roundup, the show where I give you this week's highlights, news, and rumors in the WWE. This week on Raw, Christian defeated Dolph Ziggler, Alberto Del Rio, and Sheamus to make him the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship to face Big E on main event the next night. However, during that fatal four-way match, he got a concussion due to Alberto Del Rio's super kick. Therefore, the next night, they had a triple threat match to determine the new #1 contender between Sheamus, Dolph Ziggler, and Alberto Del Rio, where Dolph Ziggler won and went on to face Big E later that night. Big E ended up getting the win, but it was a hell of a match. This week's episode of Raw featured 3 special guests: Arnold Schwarzenegger and Joe Manganiello from the new movie Sabotage, and a man dressed as Scooby-Doo. Zoink, Scoob! Rat was rareable. We knew it would happen one day, and it finally did. Batista finally ripped his jeans. The heated rivalry between John Cena and Bray Wyatt continued, and this week, during a match between John Cena and Luke Harper, the lights went out, and when they came back on, John Cena was tied up in the ropes with a sheet mask on his face. Pretty creepy, ooh. It was scheduled on this week's Raw for Undertaker and Brock Lesnar to go face-to-face. However, when Brock Lesnar called out The Undertaker, his druids came out with an empty casket. Of course, Brock Lesnar got angry, started kicking the casket, and then eventually The Undertaker sat up in the empty casket and delivered a beating to Brock Lesnar. On this week's edition of NXT, which was entitled Vengeance Week, the current champion Adrian Neville defended the title against Bo Dallas and successfully retained the NXT Championship. This week, 3 new WrestleMania matches were added to the already stellar card. One was a fatal 4-way tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championship, involving the current champions, the Usos, defending against Rybaxel, the Real Americans, and Los Matadores. The second was the first ever Vicky Guerrero Invitational for the Divas Championship, which will make AJ defend her Divas title against every single diva on the roster. Or as AJ's calling it, AJ Lee versus the World. The third match is The Shield in a 6-man tag against Kane and the New Age Outlaws. More like the Old Age Outlaws. In other WrestleMania news, a photo here shows that the WrestleMania 30 set is already under construction, and I think it's going to be pretty sweet! As we all know, Sin Cara that we see on TV is actually being portrayed by Hunico, and if you didn't know that, there you go. But the original Sin Cara is angry because they're promoting the new Scooby-Doo movie, which features voices from the original Sin Cara. But are you really missing out that much? I mean, Scooby-Doo on Raw. That's not really helping your career at all, is it? Last week I said that there were 12 more slots open for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Well, this week now there are only 4 left, as it is filling up very quickly. As I'm sure none of us are tired of hearing about CM Punk. In a new news story, it was reported that a source close to CM Punk has revealed the real reason for his departure. They say that Punk was not satisfied with his in-ring work and that he wasn't giving the fans his all. He said he was in a lot of pain, and every time he would do the Macho Man elbow drop, it would hurt him very much. He also felt that his career had peaked in 2012 and that WWE was never going to make him a top guy, so he didn't see the reason to stick around. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I can guarantee you that CM Punk will still be chanted at every WWE event for the next year. Lita confirmed that Trish Stratus would be inducting her into the WWE Hall of Fame. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, earlier this week it was announced that the 7th inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame would be none other than the bad guy, Razor Ramon. One thing to note is that he is being inducted as Razor Ramon and not Scott Hall. Many think that the reason behind this is because later on they will induct the NWO as a stable, which will have Scott Hall as opposed to Razor Ramon. While on the topic of the Hall of Fame, rumor has it that next year's big name for the Hall of Fame class of 2015 will be none other than the great one, The Rock. WWE is doing a great job of making WrestleMania 30 huge, as it should be. They're putting every single person on the roster on the card, but that's not all. Rumor has it that they are making contact with all former huge names to make cameos at the performance, including every mega draw from the past 3 decades. As we noticed a few weeks back, the Shield has turned face. A lot of people have been wondering why. Well, the reasoning apparently is because later down the line they plan to have Reigns as a top babyface, while Rollins and Ambrose be a heel tag team. And they feel that it'll be easier as faces to get both of those respective parts over. Apparently, the return date for Rob Van Dam has been revealed. If you don't want a possible spoiler, turn down your volume now. April 7th, the night after WrestleMania, could see the return of Rob Van Dam. The biggest rumors for the past few years have actually been about Sting coming to the WWE. Will he or will he not? Well, apparently, Sting has said in interviews that he does want to make it to the WWE, but there's only one man he wants to face, and he wants it to be his very last match against none other than The Undertaker. Rumor has it that that very match, The Undertaker versus Sting, Icon versus Icon, could happen at WrestleMania 31 in Sting's last match. Well, there you go, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Wrestling Roundup. Stay tuned for more news, rumors, and highlights on the next episode of Wrestling Roundup. I'm GrimmChorizo, and thanks for watching.